With the passing of Kris Kristofferson, we've been looking at different reviews and interpretations and impact of his key songs. So the latest we're doing today, I think, is one of the biggest crossover songs of the 60s and 70s. Big on the country charts, big on the rock charts, the pop charts, R&B charts as well, because there have been different covers through the years. Of course, we have to be talking about the classic Me and Bobby McGee. Now, Me and Bobby McGee is a song written by Kristofferson, and it was originally performed by Roger Miller. Fred Foster shares the writing credit, as Kristofferson wrote the song based on a suggestion from Foster. A possibly released version by Janis Joplin, who Kristofferson dated for a short while, topped the Billboard Hot 171, making the song the second possibly released number one single in U.S. chart history, after Otis Redding's classic Sitting on a Dock of the Bay. Now, Gordon Lightfoot did release a version that reached number one on the Canadian country charts in 1970. Jerry Lee Lewis' version was number one in the country charts in December, January 71-72 as the B-side of Would You Take Another Chance on Me. Billboard ranked Joplin's version as the number 11 song for 71. Now, in 2002, the 71 version of the song by Janis Joplin on Columbia Records was inducted in the Grammy Hall of Fame. Now, two different versions. There's the single version and the album version. Some people call this a blues rock standard, while other people think it's more towards country rock. Now, it took about a month to record in September, October 1970, the Janis Joplin version, and release after her passing. Now, the suggestion for the title was a cordial challenge from producer and Monument Records founder Fred Foster to Kris. The titular character was named for studio secretary Barbara Bobby McGee, but Kristofferson had misheard her surname. He explained that he was trying to convey the despair of the last scene of Federico Fellini's La Strada, in which a broken, war-torn, inebriated man, played by Anthony Quinn, stares up from the beach at the night stars and breaks down sobbing. Now, the song is the story of two drifters, the narrator and Bobby McGee. The pair hitch a ride from a truck driver and sing as they drive through the American South before making their way west. They visit California and they part ways, with the song's narrator expressing sadness afterwards. Due to the singer's name never being mentioned and the name Bobby being gender neutral, especially in America, the song has been recorded by both male and female singers with only minor differences in their lyrical content. Now, Roger Miller, again, was the first artist to cover the song in May 69 and appeared at number 12 of the U.S. country charts in 69. Now, Kenny Rogers in the first edition recorded the song in May-June 69 and released it on their album Ruby Don't Take Your Love to Town in 69. On the Canadian charts, Lightfoot's version, recorded in November 69, hit number 13 in the pop music charts and number 1 in the country music charts in 1970. The song was also included on the 70s Statler Brothers album Bed of Roses, but was not released as a single. Now, Kristofferson recorded his own version of the song on his debut Kristofferson in 1970. Later that year, his version of the song appeared in Monty Hellman's psychedelic road movie Two Lane Blacktop. Kristofferson also appears briefly singing the song in the 71 Dennis Hopper film, the very, very underrated The Last Movie. Now, Janis Joplin recorded the song for inclusion on her Pearl album only a few days before her death in October 1970. Singer Bob Newhart taught it to her while Kristofferson was in Peru filming The Last Movie with Dennis Hopper. Kristofferson did not know she had recorded the song until after she passed. The first time he heard her recording of it was the day after she died. The record world called it a perfect matching of performance material. Joplin's version topped the charts, become her only number one single. Her version was later ranked number 148 on Rolling Stone's 2004 lists of the 500 greatest songs of all time. Now, the Roger Miller version went 12 on the Billboard country charts, bubbling under a Hot 100 22nd, and number 3 in the Canadian RPM country charts. The Lightfoot version, number 1 in Canada in country, number 13 in Canada in singles, and number 7 in South America. Now, the Janis Joplin version, number 1 in Australia, number 6 in Canada, number 10 in New Zealand, number 1 in Billboard, and number 3 in Cashbox. Year-end charts, number 17 in Australia, 79 in Canada, number 11 on Billboard, and 29 in Cashbox. The Charlie Pride version went 36 in Australia. The Jerry Lee Lewis version, top 50 RPM singles in Canada. Billboard Hot 100, number 40. Easy Listening, number 39. Cashbox number 63, and the country charts number 1. Now, certified platinum in the States, the Janis Joplin version with 1 million sales, and streaming figures as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, why the song really resonates, because it's a drinking song, but it's like a sing-along song. And it's not really that hard to sing, but there's different interpretations. I think Janis Joplin's version is quite interesting, because you would never think, like I had no indication until recently that Kristofferson had been with Janis Joplin, even for a short while. But Roger Miller was mostly known for his story songs at the time, and to have him get the big hit with it is quite interesting. And the orchestration of the song, ladies and gentlemen, it's not really Roger's best vocal. And you listen to this and listen to Janis's version. I would suspect, too, as well, ladies and gentlemen, it's probably one of the biggest, most covered songs of all time. And I know for a fact that it was sort of getting to be, Kristofferson almost had immediate standards, standard songs. Now, the Me and Bobby McGee, the Janis Joplin, at the time, a majority of people believed that, she was kind of not say a swinger, but swung both ways. But the Me and Bobby McGee version, ladies and gentlemen, the Jerry Lee Lewis version is more up tempo, and I think that's one of the most underrated songs Jerry Lee Lewis has ever covered. So the idea with Kris Kristofferson, why people are looking back with fondness this week, in the late 60s, early 70s, he went from unknown to being approved by Johnny Cash. He was getting covered by a lot of people: Roger Miller, Janis Joplin, Ray Price. He had a strong relationship with a lot of session and players and different stuff. And at the time, ladies and gentlemen, he was becoming an actor. So actor, singer, songwriter. He was having a great career at the time. But like I said, you don't see that much in 2024. But back then, the Beatles were getting covered a lot. Kris was getting covered a lot. People like Elvis, people like Perry Como, people like Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra were covering a lot of songs. That was traditional at the time. So Kris Kristofferson could be a blues song. You could do the blues version, country version, pop version, rock version. But me and Bobby McGee, like I said, I'm more of a CCR fan. And that's the closest I think that he came to the John Fogerty style, which is quite interesting. People don't talk about that. How much of CCR... They like CCR because he sounded like Kris Kristofferson, and Kris Kristofferson was like because he sounded a little bit like CCR. It's yet to be known. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what they're doing with our Kris Kristofferson tribute podcast, let us know in a like, comment, subscribe, or share.